Hey there, Smite fans. Welcome to the Smite Pro League Saturday edition. My name is Bart, that's Brandon, and it's Fnatic versus Dignitas first up on the docket today. But we have a whole lot of great games for you, actually. Well, 2 sets of best of 3, Brandon.
That's right. Coming up in NA, we'll also be watching Team Solo Mid going up against now AFK Gaming, which is good. In fact, let's just take a look at the schedule. You'll see all the lineups coming up for today and for tomorrow. This, remember, is Week 3.
Well, you got Trig Esports going up against London Conspiracy earlier on in the week, and you see that Trig does win that game. Denial beats Enemy, and now we are into the 21st, where it's Fnatic versus Dignitas, your first game today. Solo Mid versus AFK, as you mentioned. So a couple of really big matchups from the top side of both of North America and Europe. And then moving on to Sunday, you got Titan, Stars, Cloud9, and COG. A nice weekend.
You know, honestly, I think today is going to be my favorite day of this split because I have Divios and Cyclone Spin facing off, which are like
huge matchup.
That's my favorite matchup. Period.
This is like the bragging rights matchup, basically, for who is the dominant solo laner in North America.
There's been a lot of contention between the two, and then this matchup for Europe, I absolutely adore. But first, we're going to talk about this. I mean, these two players have kind of like raised the bar, and Divios not looking as strong as Cyclone's 10.7
Oh
KDA.
My God. What? Hey, video games?
Video games.
Video games! Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
So what's interesting is we actually had a malfunction of both of our mic packs. Our batteries died at the same exact
same time.
But what I know more than anything from watching Dragon Ball Z this morning is that humans can defeat machines. So we put new batteries in them, just like Gohan killed Cell.
Okay.
So we're basically Super
was Cell a
Saiyan.
machine?
What? Yeah, it's an android.
Cell? Oh, he eats the androids to become more powerful.
No, but he's an android himself.
Oh, okay. I thought.
Spoilers. Rip.
My God. I never made it that far, I guess.
Really? You date Kelly Link? That's insanity. She has a 4-star Dragon Ball on her back.
4-star was all over by the time they got that far in the saga, right?
Fair enough.
Well, I guess let's take a look at Fnatic and their team. How are they doing this season?
Fnatic is, right now, not doing as well as their World Championships 4th place would expect. A 50% win rate, actually defeating Titan on the way here. And this is exciting for me today because this team has not very much to prove. I mean, 4th place at Worlds, big payday.
Yes.
They are already there, but they're 1-1. Now, they're going up against Team Dignitas, who has a ton to prove. Likely to be one of the weaker rosters in the SPL period, and yet they're 2-0 in their current split.
There's a little to prove for me out of Fnatic, and that's, you got to prove to me still that Captain Twig Zero's position swap is better than where they were. Not proven to me yet, at least, but let's take a look at Dignitas, as you mentioned, this roster. While being very successful so far in the Pro League, they haven't dropped any of their matchups so far at 2-0. You know, it feels like, still there's something to prove here out of this squad. Like, and to me, it's variety playing at the level of the rest of the solo laners in Europe. And really, can this, Shadow Nightmare, Youngbay team carry a squad to victory?
For me, I'm watching a lot of Frostiak in the jungle, just seeing if he can kind of keep up to where he's been known to play, because he has been the most hot and cold player, I think, in the history of Smite Esports. He is considered the best jungler in Europe, and then is considered benched, and then he's considered the best jungler in Europe, and then he's considered off the team, and now he's back on the best team.
It's actually kind of a little bit of what this team is. It's a lot of players that kind of fill in that category. If only Half Devil was here as well, we could really say it was truly the misfit squad. But let's go ahead and get into picks and bans, guys. It's Fnatic versus Dignitas, game number 1 out of a best-of-3 set here in the Smite Pro League. Let's get it underway. One thing to consider here, Dignitas has banned Serket and Arachne in, I think, 3 out of their 4 games they played in the Pro League, and Osiris Hunbots has been their definite go-to, especially when behind. So keep an eye out for those styles of bans and picks out of this squad.
And remember, there were some pretty serious buffs coming through this week on the patch. Both Anhur and Bacchus have a huge amount of, I think, presence in the current meta. Serket getting banned away, I think that's a really, really smart ban. This character is extremely devastating.
Yes. Yes, she is. Serket can, well, she just has massive burst potential. The poison also can be very effective against certain lineups, but it's going to be Poseidon Ra banned out here by Fnatic, so nothing surprising there. And I would expect Arachne banned out by Dignitas here, as that's what they've banned in every other game that I've seen them play.
Yeah, this is like the one European team that seems to really value Arachne very high. rather highly, as opposed to North America, where she's just generally seen as very strong by most teams. Europe doesn't really seem to feel the same way. We haven't seen a lot of presence from Arachne so far.
We haven't. And maybe that's because Dignitas bans it so damn much. But oh, hey, look, what a surprise.
There she goes.
It is indeed.
Yeah, variety. I mean, actually, his top god, which is not something you would expect. Maniac's top god, actually, Hades as well. Hades showing some presence for Fnatic. Oh, yeah, it was incredible. But first pick's going to be Athena, leaving on her open for Bacchus, a possible pickup. Wow.
So thoughts on relative strength between Athena and Bacchus?
I still think Bacchus is a little bit weaker. I generally see Bacchus right now as like the third pick after Sylvanas as well. I mean, ShadowQ really proving that character is just a step above the rest. Now, we talked to ShadowQ a little bit yesterday about why he thinks so, and it's just basically healing is very important, and putting that on your support early enough makes it so that you can pick other things for other roles, which leaves a little bit more ambiguity for the rest of the picking phase.
One more pick still outstanding here from Dignitas. Will we see that wombo combo sort of Ymir on her? Yes, I said it just to see if you would. I saw the face twinge, Brandon, when I said wombo combo. Ymir Hunbot, so still that kind of combo team fight play leaves Ymir open. Obviously, that may now go the way of Fnatic, where it may fall into Real's capable hands.
Are we going to see Athena and Anhur together? Wow.
Yeah, that's
two
dream.
S+ characters, man. That's absolutely the dream. One more pick there for Fnatic. What I like from Dignitas, though, is the possible ambiguity coming out from their picks. Hunbots has been known to be a solo laner this season. They do have, of course, Frostiak up there as well, which means he's going to have a really good Ymir jungle. It got banned out a lot. He was forced to counterpick it a lot, so there's still some ambiguity. Thor getting... How in the world do they have this roster?
Yeah, they've really drafted. Well, there's the Thor Athena kind of built-in synergy, semi-global presence, massive burst, lockdown on her. Well, we all know what Anhur can do. We watched last season. I will say Team Dignitas has played Hunbots exclusively in the jungle so far this season, so I'd be surprised to not see it go there.
Fair enough.
Xbalanque going to be picked up, and that's likely to go with Ymir. I would think here. Although that's already something we can talk about here in this draft in kind of the overall way these team fights are going to work and these team engagements are going to work. I mean, it's Ymir, Xbalanque, Athena on her. Where are you seeing the strengths and weaknesses from these two?
Generally speaking, Ymir is going to have a little bit better clear from level 1 to level 2. Athena, after that, will start catching up a little bit with the shield wall. Anhur is going to be able to outclear Xbalanque entirely. Yeah. The issue is that Hunbots doesn't have the same level of presence that Thor will have, meaning he can be a little bit more aggressive, of course, talking about reels from the backside, ensuring that if they want to pressure the tower, they can safely.
Yeah, I'm really worried about Gold Fury here. If I'm on the side of Dignitas, Fnatic with that on her, it's just so excellent at taking the Gold Fury, and with that kind of A++ clear that on her now enjoys, Xbalanque is going to be stuck under the tower more often than not, potentially during those attempts. So it's going to take some really nice positioning, probably out of the mid lane of Dignitas here, to prevent those Gold Fury attempts from happening. The draft is continuing while we babble, though. It's Isis taken by Dignitas, and Fnatic continues with some just very high priority picks. They're getting very late in this draft here as the Isis is drafted and the Hunbots not, generally speaking, something that are highly prioritized by other teams. Dignitas playing their game, but they will give up Hercules, Janus, Thor on her Athena to Fnatic.
That is, in my opinion, a dream lineup. That lineup is unbelievably strong. Final pick here for Dignitas is going to be Osiris. Now, if you're going up against Fnatic here, Thor can be a little bit dangerous, Hercules can be dangerous, but Osiris's early game is just a little bit stronger. We could expect an invade here. Would have to be a little bit careful about their timing. Should they go in after Thor has used Mjolnir's Attunement or Berserker Barrage, whatever he decides to get at level 1, Osiris has clear potential for first blood here. If they decide to go to lane and just do this normally, for me, this looks like Fnatic should take this pretty easily with that lineup.
Yeah, Fnatic definitely, I'm going to agree, has the better level 1 here. It's got to be Team Dignitas that looks to dodge the fight. I'll be very surprised to see them go aggressive, although they're going to do it anyway because to hell with what I think. But yeah, out of that Fnatic team, that level 1 is really nasty. A lot of stuns, a lot of burst damage versus, Osiris and Xbalanque, not really great level 1 options out of the side of Dignitas. But we are underway, ladies and gentlemen. Let's introduce your teams as we see them make their way around the map. Dignitas looking to fight Badger there, but just going to likely move away with some deep wards. On the left side of your screen, the bottom side of your minimap, it is Fnatic, formerly known as SK. It's Maniac, who's going to be your solo lane Hercules. Captain Twig in the jungle In his new role as Thor, Zeros moving over to the mid lane. Now as Janus, it's Badja and Reels. No introduction needed there as Athena and Anhur. Over on the side of Team Dignitas, it's Variety in the solo lane as Osiris. It's Frostiak in the jungle for Hunbots. Shadow Nightmare will be your mid lane Isis. It's Frezzo on a signature Ymir, and Youngbay playing that Xbalanque in the duo lane with him. Let's get this bad boy going.
To start off, Captain Twig is definitely after my heart as he places down the absolutely perfect speed ward. I mean, I'm just babbling right now with how much I love him. He will be able to spot out everything Variety and Frostiak intend to do here on the top side, but we are going to have a pretty much normal meta start. For some reason, Variety not taking the advantage of the fact that he will have an advantage on the invade with Heavy Hammer. Their hand 1 start on both players on the bottom side is going to do a little bit better for being able to clear. Actually, no, Maniac opting for hand 2. Ooh, they really are trying to just make me love them today.
Today more than any other day is the Brandon day. They got together in the morning and they were like, today we're going to do Brandon. Well, let's take a look here. It's the solo lane. This is where we would expect to see any action in the first part of the game. Captain Twig, already about half HP, so he's not going to be able to aggress on that Maniac pushback. Variety and Frostiak, you can see what they can do with the chain slows and the bit of burst damage out of the Hunbots. So it's a pretty dangerous lane both ways, at least at this level 2 engagement. Now that Hercules especially has that pluck into Driving Strike, if Twig could put out damage, they can find a kill. But
honestly, I think that was a potential first blood that was thrown away. Variety, after getting into the Driving Strike, I think got a little bit nervous and started running towards his tower. Had he immediately just turned, there was definitely chance for first blood, and I think that's a testament to Maniac, who also gets the pull. Speaking of first blood, he's 1 hit away. Can Maniac find it? Double tap will do it.
There you go, Twig. Get on the backside, doing a nice job of avoiding the rest of that archer damage coming out. Maniac and Twig both get very, very low, but they're happy to enjoy that first blood, Brandon. But now, there's an opportunity here for Frostiak to recoup some of this XP, as both of them are so low. He can get a little bit of solo XP out of this, but it's going to be the early teleport to towers out of Variety, actually, that's it's going to push Frostiak into the jungle. This, you sacrifice basically your late game to make sure you don't fall behind during the early game here with this early tier 1 purchase and use of that teleport.
Usually I'm not a huge proponent of teleport, but generally we're also talking about when people build Hand of the Gods. Maniac has built Hand of the Gods comparatively to Variety, who has gone into Heavy Hammer, meaning he has that open slot. It'll actually be wind up more effective in the endgame, or at least it could be, than Hand of the Gods. So generally speaking, they're probably about even right now. Yeah,
it's likely that he's going to have to pair this with the Weakening Curse as well, which, a couple of utility actives for Variety, not going to be the end of the world. But we won't see maybe a huge damage potential out of this Osiris in this game. They're going to be relying a bit more on the Hunbots Isis Ymir combination to win these team fights.
So looking at the mid lane here, Zeros going up against Shadow Nightmare. Now, generally speaking, Shadow Nightmare has a pretty extravagant track record. Has always been a top player in his region, albeit a bit polarizing between the rest of the players. Comparatively to Zeros, who is really kind of making his debut in the split in the mid lane. Up until this point, he was known exclusively as a jungler. So it's a little bit strange to see them going into this new role just so willy-nilly, but so far it seems like it's working out for them.
Well, you see your mid-Harpy contention coming out. Left side looks like it's going to go the way of Dignitas. Right side to Fnatic as we're riding along with Twig and Janus picking that one up. And it's the 3-man split over on the left side, so a little bit more gold efficient is Dignitas in that first mid-Harpy. And we're going to have our first initiation as well. It's a 2 ultimates overlap with each other. Damage ticking up, but off the mark there with Shadow Nightmare. Could have put out some more damage onto the Thor. And well, even though the kill may not have been possible, now Twig can kind of look to re-engage or continue farming because that extra burst didn't come out.
That is the big hit right there about diminishing returns. Isis throws out 2 spells, and this is one of the reasons that I don't value her as high. She hits him with the silence, hits him with the stun, and then Ymir comes in with the big stun, as we also see in left, and it's not going to last for as long. That was not nearly the same thing, but
Reels
might be in some trouble here. Youngbay not following up, and possibly smartly, as you can see, Captain Twig putting some pressure out. 4-man rotation over here, but neither side's going to find anything from it.
Yeah, a little, maybe pulled the gun a little early there, did Fnatic. Reels, there wasn't really an opportunity for them to save him there. So they invest a lot to go over. They're going to get at least 1 wave of free farm to Shadow Nightmare here. And Isis, it's that early gold fear, I think, that Fnatic has to be playing against. With an Ymir, who's an excellent kind of, his ultimate, right? It zones as well as provides a lot of burst damage to that Gold Fury. the Isis on top of that, and a Hun bots. How do they aggress into that if they try to take this thing around the 6 or 7 minute mark with an early Hog 3 rush that we see online from the Ymir already at 4.5 minutes?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what Humbots does, right? That's his biggest strength, in my opinion, is your level 13 to level 17 just ults. I mean, it's not about the damage he puts out. It's much more about how much space he can control, how safe he can be on his attempts for objectives. He is one of the characters that's going to do very well about getting his team ahead as quickly as possible. I think Captain Twig just accidentally popped his beads.
Oh, no.
That's a 3-minute beads usage. The enemy team doesn't know that, and they'll see, hey, he has beads. Let's talk about that and maybe not engage. So he can bluff, but that's pretty much all he's got going for him.
Well, it comes down to whether or not Frostiak plays aggressive here as he is moving up in the solo lane. He may be looking for the play on the Twig. He's going to come Maniac. Variety. Variety's been winning this lane, I want to point out. His 25-second cooldown remaining on his Tier 1 teleport. It's a Tier 2 that was purchased by the Hercules and is on about the same cooldown. So, advantage Variety, but there's the pluck. There's the stun as well. Variety's going to take about half of his HP. The Pinata comes out, but not enough damage.
Can we talk about, we can talk about all of those players as much as we want. The player of the game right now for me is Frezzy. I mean, this guy has taken back camps. He was perfectly on time for mid camps. He just stole away a red buff by himself. He is setting up kills. He's setting up, rather, kill potential while his team might not be following up perfectly. Frezzy has been playing as close to perfect as you can expect this game so far.
Well, that's the biggest question mark out of this Team Dignitas team is who is going to play the Ymir?
Yeah, right?
Frezzy, signature Ymir, and that support role, as we're seeing here, a great roamer. Sense for blood, definitely on the Ymir. Seems to be in the right place more often than not, as you mentioned, stealing a camp. And, well, it's Frostiak, also known for a dominant jungle Ymir that really
he
put Ymir
basically
on the map
broke
for you.
the game for a month.
Yeah, Wingblade Ymir with cooldown boots.
So I'm a big fan.
And then in all things. Truly the frost giant that is the whole world. Mid camps, they're going to be taken again. Left side does go to the boys of Fnatic. Right side, Dignitas is here, and Frostiak's going to clean those up for them. So nothing cooking around the 6.5 minute mark so far. Brandon, what are you seeing through the early game here? How do you think we're going to see this mid game shape up?
Generally speaking, it's going to come down to how well Osiris can rotate ahead of Hercules. And so far, it seems like Variety's perfectly using, but constantly out of position. He's one hit away. Tower's not going to do it. It will be just barely. With that rotation, though, I would have expected them to immediately rush down the Gulf Fury. They had the potential, especially with Athena having her ultimate up. They should have went for it immediately off that rotation, but they don't do it. They're just too far spread out, and they will gain nothing off of this.
Janus sees this rotation coming out from Ymir and Isis. They run right over the ward on the way. The vision, it's pretty gratuitous, honestly, on the side of Fnatic right now. They have 2 wards on the right side of the middle lane. Nothing on the left, but a sentry at the Gold Fury, and 2 wards as spot out rotations to the left side as well. So they're looking to try to mitigate this Ymir's presence through their mid game. But Ymir, he's found some nice impact on the game. Still no kills or assists to his name, but he's definitely had some scares to the side of Fnatic.
As we get into the next wave here, Kevin, why don't we bring up the graphs here? I think it's important to highlight that we're 7 minutes into this game, and those numbers are dead even.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a perfectly healthy human being on this chart right now. He is just going strong.
Doing well.
He's doing well.
And that small advantage that Dignitas does have, I think, comes down to when they 3-man split the left side mid camp on the first spawn. Like, it's that small.
Yeah, exactly. Well, realistically, it's hard to even gauge that, but check this out. In a bad position right now. Do we see the mid laner coming out from Fnatic? Oh, real bad position. Through space and time, though. Going to be able to save him because, Janus.
That's 2 ultimates, though. This should be Gold Fury, I think, for Dignitas.
It's possible.
Given how we've been talking about how good their comp is at doing it, no Athena ultimate and no Janus ultimate means that rotation isn't coming fast, and they don't have to deal with the burst damage. It's really unstoppable out of the Athena in that enclosed position. So would be surprised to see the attempt coming up sooner than later here. Would like to see it, at least.
What I would have liked to see is Reels just take a few shots at the Gold Fury. He has Dev Gloves right now with 25 stacks, meaning the lifesteal would have been really good. He meets up in lane, even slowing down a little bit way before the creeps are even available, which means he should have a little bit more health at this point. But it's hard to, it's hard to judge that kind of tiny misplay, considering the fact that he's going even with Youngbei. Although Youngbei almost an entire level ahead. That's actually crazy.
Yeah, somehow Xbalanque has done it. It's that splitting of the mid camp on the left side is 3. Youngbei was in it. I'm telling you, that's the whole game.
I think it's because Badger wasn't in it.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's more that there's been a pretty decent amount of pressure put out on the rest of the map that's given Youngbae, I think, a couple more minions than what Anhur was able to get. And that comes down to the pressure from the Ymir, and we saw the heavy warding on that side of the map as well. But there's an engagement at the Gold Fury here as Fnatic. They're going to dump everything into it. The Desert's Fury is used as well as the Pillar. The Sands are there. Ymir not able to close the distance, and he's going to lose his life for the attempt nonetheless. Gold Fury to the credit of Fnatic, and Twig is looking for more.
Just like we said, it talks about how much can Maniac or Variety out-rotate each other. Captain Twig in a bit of trouble here. Lord of the Afterlife completely whiffs as Variety then turns his sights instead to Maniac.
Well, this one, it continues on. Reels comes over the wall. Variety a tanky target, and Batz is going to get stunned out, and that could very well be the end of this one as the Spirit Ball is on the mark from Shadow Nightmare to force the disengage. Nicely played. Mid camp's going to go right side to Fnatic. They're also looking to turn the corner on the left. Athena in position. But with Hunbots charging forward, they have to respect his ability to burst down these gods and the slow coming out of his leap. Left side, mid-camp still up, Brandon. Variety's going to come in with a teleport to wards, but that may have been a little bit of a blown cooldown. There's just not much they can do.
I agree. He probably should have just went right back to lane. But with that, Frostiak's going to rotate over and make sure they get the pressure, they get the push off. They're not losing any experience. They try to spot the blue there, but it's long been taken. That timer really should have been kept by Variety earlier on. I mean, Hercules still has the buff on him.
Well, 10.5 minutes, Brandon. 2 kills to 1. Gold Fury already to the credit of Fnatic. The first kind of lead of the game is going to come out, and that gives us an opportunity while the teams reset to let you know that the Challengers Cup for North America is running over on Smite Game 2. Hinduman and Joden on the cast for that one, guys. Twitch.tv/SmiteGame2 if you want to see the amateurs going at it here. But we're going to get back to Fnatic versus Dignitas here from the European Pro League. What do you think, Brandon? 11 minutes in, is that Gold Fury enough to kind of take Fnatic? Does it get him far enough ahead?
Oh, whoa. Frezzy taking a lot of damage and left here. Oh, wow, okay. 4-man rotation, whether it was necessary or not, they still pick up a kill. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good idea. Shutting Frezzy down. At one point, Frezzy did have the level advantage over Badger, and now Badger anchoring on level 10 right now comparatively to Frezzy, who is not even halfway through 8, and he's been there for quite some time.
Zeros, they're going to attempt to take away the red buff here. Frostiak, he's gone underneath his tower, and he's going to be missed by that Unstable Vortex. Zero may have bit off more against you. He has. Really unlikely he makes it out of this one. And down. Oh, wow! Oh, Zeros, please. That damage mitigation from Badger's ultimate coming in. Youngbae misses one in-hand there and allows him to slip right through that wall. Zeros keeping calm under pressure.
Remember that time for no reason people just didn't pick Janus?
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's every day. This character is unbelievably strong in the current meta, as you can see, and not to mention Athena with the beautiful ult. Actually, at the beginning of that, I kind of thought that might have been a wasted cooldown, but Badger proved me wrong in spades, not only keeping him alive, but peeling for him afterwards. Mid lane right now, huge amount of damage coming through as you see Variety getting picked off. That is actually far more. Wow, that teleport! Zeros will go down, but a big swing right there in his favor.
Not this time, son. Captain Twig underneath the tower. He can't stay in for the duration of the Berserker's Barrage. And luckily, Maniac gets that driving strike out before the Frost Breath from Ymir connects. And then jukes the second one just to show that he can.
Oh, but Youngbae's here doing some damage. Frezzy again in a lot of trouble. Still level 8. Can he get away from it? It's going to be one more hit. No, hits the roll, but he reaches for it and he gets it.
Badger, the heads-up play there. And you saw the chunks being taken out of Ymir by that chair being wielded by the Luchador Hercules. His passive giving him so much strength at that low HP value. Just overstayed his welcome a little bit, did Frezzy. Once he blew that Frost Breath and missed with it, probably time to move out.
You know, it's funny, as you said that, I was watching just the character panel for Hercules and the number go down and down and down as he started healing himself in the fountain. He lost somewhere in the neighborhood of like 55 damage. Just on his in-hands, and man, did they chunk.
He was chunking that.
Oh, yeah.
That did it. Well, mid-camps are back up yet again. It's been another 3 minutes. How fast they grow up here, these games. Badger going to secure that one with the help of Zeros. Left side's going to be back up as well, and it looks like Dignitas is going to be conceding that one also to Fnatic. A bit of an engagement at the Fire Giant as they're looking for a kill into Frostiak. Variety's here with the Tether and the Slow, and that's enough to save the little Space Monkey that could.
Now, I'm looking over here in the duo lane, and I feel like Reels is just giving Youngbae too much credit. I mean, no matter how good Youngbae is, he's still Xbalanque in the early game, and at this point, Reels has just given him too much license to farm freely. There hasn't been enough aggression, and with that, it feels like he's kind of playing Xbalanque himself, trying to farm safely as opposed to going for that early damage, which Anhur is known for, which hasn't done a lot for his team in the long run. With that, right side, Maniac getting chased down here by Variety. Heavy Hammer doing a lot there, but you can see Hercules, very, very tanky, able to walk away cleanly. Still using that Bluestone Pendant to keep himself in the lane for longer.
So another cudgel started up as well for that Osiris. So
did he grab that?
Coming out, yeah. Captain Twig, down he goes, just to escape a gank attempt on his life. And he'll fall back to his side of the map pretty safely, but they won't have that Thor ultimate available. Gold Fury, she's back up and ready to be contested when these teams get around to it. And you got to think that's the next place that we're going to see a big engagement. Level 15 here. The players, approach 15 minutes. The top farmers getting close to level 15 as well. And as you mentioned kind of earlier in the cast, Hunbots can shine here with some really big disruptive ultimates in these engagements.
I want to talk a little bit about the Zero's Captain Twig switch and what it brings to the table. Now, when people told me about this switch, everyone's like, I don't know if they can do it. For me, it wasn't a they situation. It was more of, I don't know if he can do it, talking about Zeros. He didn't seem like a mage player to me. Whereas Captain Twig's biggest strength, in my opinion, is keeping track of absolutely everything. That's what made him a good Joust player, keeping track of every single timer in the jungle camps, how to get them, whether he could do them safely. And just what we saw up there, you know, he takes the speed buff and then gets away from 3 using his ultimate. That's what I knew Captain Twig would bring to the table. However, I didn't think that Zeros was going to be half as strong as he's shown today. Just the suicide portal that he put forth to get the kill and then die to the Isis who was behind. I mean, that kind of decision-making is something that you can't teach a mid laner, and it really feels like Zeros is actually more comfortable here than he was in the jungle.
Maybe. I mean, opening up the God pool to Janus when you're used to playing Assassins is a pretty easy transition, I want to say.
Oh, no, I mean, that's like my worst god.
Yeah, but I think the transition mechanically is probably difficult, but what you do in terms of how you influence the game is pretty similar. You pick people off with your massive burst damage.
Right there, Captain Twig taking a huge chunk out of Frezzo. You can see that damage was almost exclusively Mjolnir's attunement. And remember, the blink was really cute there. Turns around, throws a wall to stop Badger as well, kind of making him a little bit unsafe. Twig going in here, gets the stun, and Janus not quite throwing it out far enough. This could be trouble for Twiggy.
That looked like the old Pon Thor play, where you dive in, pop your beads, and immediately try to ult out. I'm really surprised he followed up that hammer toss and went in after Shadow Nightmare. There wasn't a lot of chance, I don't think, for him to burst down, and the team not able to secure it. Badger not really in sync and channeling that ultimate as they were expecting. So all things told, it's an advantage for Dignitas now. Maybe going to turn into a gold figure off of this as they know at least one very high-impact member of Fnatic is down. Badger's going to have to fall back as well, but I think with Variety being chased out by Maniac behind the oh, he's dead. Maniac.
Oh, he missed the driving strike, and Maniac doesn't have a lot of mana to be able to continuously sustain through this.
Maniac.
And remember, in that engagement, Isis did run out of mana, meaning she was not able to go for the Gold Fury. Rotation over towards the right side as we see Frostiak trying to defend both his teammate and his tower as he forces Maniac's teleport usage just to get him out of there safely.
But now he's going to be back in the lane, and he's going to enjoy another probably couple waves of free farm, and maybe even this tier 1 tower. Maniac with the plays, goes to mid lane, runs right back, he ignores the mid camps, but he's going to recall. I think the tower still falls in his favor, though. Fnatic going to get a little bit of a gold boost out of this one. Already putting together about a 3,000 gold advantage, Brandon, as we're looking at the graphs here. Experience to the tune of 4,500, so Fnatic built themselves a healthy little lead.
You know, I also like the fact that we did see Osiris, in fact, go into Creeping Curse. This is something Bart predicted early on, and this is probably the best bet. Hercules in the endgame, I mean, if you don't build some kind of healing reduction, he is all but invincible. So this is a necessary evil that we have seen Osiris go into. The issue is that Hercules' endgame is going to far outshine the endgame of Osiris, who hasn't really seen a lot of early success as we should have expected.
Gold Fury, attempt, in comes dashing the Athena. She gets a nice taunt off, but Ymir is in the center of that one, channeling his ultimate. No one's doing damage to allow them to get into range. The Gold Fury continue to wail in, but Bay in the backside finds a kill, but Reels, there's the Desert Fury, and the fight is starting to turn back towards Fnatic. The spin to win is there. Variety desperately trying to get the Gold Fury low enough. Frezzy will be able to hog it out as it does go down to the Lord of the Afterlife, but it's the big Twig, the boulder over the top. It's a triple for the Hercules and a deicide for Fnatic. They lose the Gold Fury, but they get it back in spades, and now they're going to take some towers. They may get a Fire Giant here if they're looking for the big plays, but they're going to be a bit safer. The disciplined play from Fnatic results in a big swing.
You know, people always ask, you know, why Xbox One isn't going to Smite? Because Viva Pinata. Right there, Hercules, huge play.
Right.
That was good, right? You like
that
one?
Was good.
All right.
I'll give it to you, buddy.
Fire Giant, let's go here. Fnatic with a huge advantage.
Yeah, they shouldn't have any problem securing this one, especially with the Anhur who's going to make it back in time
Maniac,
to really put the damage
me.
out. Maniac, hasn't been playing his Terra, hasn't been keeping up to date with those dodgeable attacks. So.
Oh, zeros.
Oh yeah, player of the week, zeros.
They'll get it.
Yeah.
They'll still get it, despite a little bit of growing pains
you know what?
there.
He just wanted to get back to the base faster.
He did.
He needed to take the quick trip back.
He got very, very fast back to the base.
I would love to hear Zero's comms right now when he talks about that. He's a funny guy, so I'm sure he had something very, very colorful to say about dying to that mud puddle.
So right there, Captain Twig on the right side looking like finally going to get this tier 1 that's been hanging on. In the mid lane, Badger by himself here, but with Fire Giant fighting against 3. Many ultimates go through. He does go down just barely at the end as Maniac looks to make the play here.
I don't know about trying to fight Hercules with a Fire Giant buff while he's ahead, but they will clean up real.
Wow, what is happening here?
Maniac kind of, gets the old Odin come fight me stance, and he's done a lot of damage, but now they're just one by one, walking to their deaths here as Fnatic.
A Lemmings-esque attempt at a team fight here. Fnatic vastly throwing away any chance at their lead, or at least keeping it. They've actually dropped about 2,000 gold in that fight, and there goes another 500.
Yeah. Normally you'd say in that position, Dignitas needs to make some big plays to get themselves back into this game with the advantage plus Fire Giant buff on Fnatic, but Fnatic giving them a gift, and now it's really, Zeros without the buff, it's just Twiggy. Twig's the only one that even has the benefit of that Fire Giant buff, so.
That's rough.
Dignitas has also recouped most of the gold and probably all of the experience. Let's take a look at the graphs here as those kills are so valuable in experience. Yes, there it is. From what was once nearly 8,000 down under 5K and less than 1,000 gold separating the teams now is Dignitas not going down without a fight. And that fight may be enough even to win them the game perhaps as they have the Xbalanque on their side. Can they take it late enough now for him to shine, Brandon? What do you got on that?
Well, Xbalanque right now, I think, is just in a better spot than Reels. He has a 2-level advantage. He's got 1 stack on the passive, which at this point should be good enough. While Anhur is considered a better character, it's because the early game is so dominant, it's to the point where it shouldn't be a winnable matchup. But right there, I mean, we're just seeing Youngbei play out of his mind this game.
Yeah, he gets caught up a little bit on the wall there. He's going to use the ultimate, go through the portal. It's not enough damage just yet. Look for Zeros to come in on the backside, though. Desert Fury is used. Youngbei trying to sit underneath the tower. He's got the bull, is activated. Zeros does not want to dive. He comes back into the fray and throws out the unstable vortex. It's not enough to find any kills just yet. Real's forced to leap out as well. A little surprised to not see Zeros try to dive that one there, to be honest with you. You had about an 8-second
Zeros, I can't believe that we saw Reels throw those spears at Ymir and not Xbalanque. I mean, he barely even touched them comparatively to the fact that there was at least a chance he would have gotten a kill there.
Also, I mean, it was a big rotation from Fnatic. They found basically nothing. The Thor ultimate is kind of overreaching, and they're unable to follow it up at all. They do leave a lot of space for Maniac to farm up, but is it the Hercules that really needs to continue in his item progression here? He's got the Wingblade Runeforge plus the Power Boots. At this point, he's not going to get anything that's going to give him a big power or impact spike. And then at this point in the game, with the exception of maybe a Magi's Blessing or something like that, but he's not going that direction. So what is the plan for Fnatic there with that rotation and Dignitas now with the big opportunity to answer?
It looks to me like they're just trying to let Maniac farm up, or rather, Maniac and Captain Twig just continuing their farm. And I like this play for Fnatic because if you look at the build, you're right. There's not a lot of power on it. He has a small amount from Runeforge. He has Warrior Tabby. There's a little bit on Bluestone, and then he's going into Mace, right? But what they're not considering is the fact that this Mace is going to be Jotun's. He already has the Wingblade. That's close to full CDR, which means his peel potential is going to be through the roof.
Yeah, more of a support frontliner for Maniac
it
here instead of kind of the damage dealer. It'll also be a little bit easier for him
Thor's
to
up.
deal with the anti-heal. Thor's going to come crashing down. They will find Shadow Nightmare, who has been the target more often than not for these initiations. But more often than not, it's gone that way as well as he skirts it and survives. But in the meantime, Zeros finds a kill on the Ymir. That's a lot of CC off of the board for Dignitas. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to win this fight. Now, given that Real's trying to chase down the monkey, I saw a weakening curse come out as well, but no initiation on the back of it. Frostiak didn't even need to be chased down. He kind of just let himself get killed there, going into 5.
He jumped in and then used the teleport, missing giving himself absolutely
Thor on the backside. He's going to find the stun
out.
on a young Bay. They're going to be able to charge forward. Shadow Nightmare down. The taunt on no variety as well. He may be taking a spill. The Lord of the Afterlife comes out. No more healing for you. Young Bay, in the meantime, turns and smacks around Twiggy, who tried for that initiation, but now he's in some trouble. No way you can fight forward, especially not in those sands of Anhur. The damage amplification just too strong. 2 towers likely to fall on the left side now, as Fnatic is all grouped up here and able to take a Gold Fury.
Look at the play. They said Maniac to split push, while Anhur and Athena go for the major damage and major clear. They don't want to use their Hand of the Gods here. They're going to try to save it for the Fire Giant. And with that, I think it's a pretty good play. You can see them whittle this down here. FG coming up in a few seconds. Frez getting ready. You can see he is on that side of the map, but there will be some backs coming out here from Fnatic as they gain a massive amount of their gold lead back. Now 4,700 ahead.
Yeah, you can see just how valuable these late game team fights are. Gods are with so much experience when they're killed in Smite. You can see the big spill as Dignitas won a team fight, and then the massive resurgence as Fnatic won the second one. They swing about 14,000 experience during those 2 engagements, and it leads to an 11,500 lead for Fnatic.
Look at this, Bart. Double Heart Ward Amulet coming out from the side of Team Dignitas.
Those
now,
don't stack.
Those auras, yeah, like Bart said, are very wide, but they do not stack, meaning a lot of what they've paid for here is not going to be utilized. They're going to lose about 20 physical protection, and they've paid in rather 80 physical protection. They're paying into it big time. This is a kind of a big drop here for Dig.
Well, there's 2 schools of thought here. One is they didn't realize it, and the other one is that they really want to spread that out across the entire team fight, try to position Osiris on one side and Ymir on the other. Speaking of Osiris, he's caught in an awkward position as Twig comes crashing in the backline to prevent the follow-up to try to save Variety's life, and well, his life is forfeit as Lord of the Afterlife was used to kind of engage onto 3 there, and they clean him up easily.
Eyes on Reels here. It looks like he, unlike some of his teammates, does have the Fire Giant fight down, or at least he almost did. He's going to be forced to retreat there. Maniac picking up a kill onto Shadow Nightmare makes the fight a little bit more uneven. Fnatic with a 2-man power play turns their sights as a whole now to the Fire Giants.
Reels, yeah, he's got the aggro. He wants to drop at least the boulder toss aggro. He can dodge those ground spells fairly easily.
There he goes.
And, well, the Fire Giant, yeah, he's going to fall right on down. Reels, he's going to just tank it all the way up. He doesn't care about that healing reduction. And there comes the Hog. Fnatic has taken the second Fire Giant of the game. And once again on their backs. The first one, they didn't get much out of it. The second one, I'm sure they'll get quite a bit more. As you can see, Maniac, with the items that he has, a lot of mana out of the Jotun's Wrath and the Wingblade between the 2 of them. HP, a lot of just base stats, really, out of the itemization that he's built here. And it's going to be probably, what, a Bulwark as the final item, perhaps?
It's
Pestilence,
possible.
maybe?
It's possible. Pestilence.
Not a lot of healing coming out of the
healing.
side of Dignitas, but it could shut down Xbalanque lifesteal, which is not something to scoff at.
That's true. A fair point. I mean, it is a fairly stable amount. Most likely we'll see Bulwark. I think Bulwark's going to give him probably the biggest bang for his buck, but I think we're also overlooking Stone of Gaia, which is something that Hercules functions so well with.
But with already with the Weakening Curse out, I probably don't see the Stone of Gaia being a 5th item pickup here. It's just you're going to shut down all that MP5, HP5 in the fight. So Bulwark gives him the best survivability option, a bunch of health and a bunch of mitigation. So that's my guess for it, but we'll see what Maniac, the Portuguese powerhouse, elects to go for.
With that, left side tier 2, final tier 2 remaining here for Team Dignitas. They're going to group up as at least 3 here, with 2 kind of coming into the back line as well. But this tower has already been taken. This will extend the gold lead, now up over 10,000 gold, very close to 11. Fnatic looking real strong to take this game.
What's going on with Twiggy here with the Brawler's Beat Stick? Is this just the I heard you like penetration build, or I mean, what like? Is the anti-heal something you think they're going to value? I mean, this would indicate to me that it may very well be a Pestilence, but as we see the Titan main coming out, it is just heard you like penetration.
With that, I'm pretty surprised to see Brawlers. I mean, generally speaking, there's not a lot of healing on this team already, given the fact that Shadow Nightmare is their only real form aside from just lifesteal builds. I kind of expected that if he wanted that penetration that we would have seen him go into Crusher, especially since they're at a point in the game where they're looking to kill these towers as fast as possible. Thor with attack speed, maybe not the greatest thing, but he's gaining pretty much the same stats.
Where are the Spirit Robes, dude?
Dude, I love Spirit.
That's what I'm wondering. I mean, just as you mentioned already, the Isis silence into stun combination diminishing returns itself. The silence is considered a hard CC. If you get hit by the silence, the Spirit Robe passive is going to come into effect, and all of a sudden, what are they going to do to you? And it's going to help really mitigate what Ymir can do in the fights as well. So a little bit surprised to not see that item. We do see the Magi's for Athena. That's a pretty standard pickup for a Guardian. It allows them to avoid potential CCs at critical Hand of the Gods moments at objective play. But no Spirit Robes, reinforced Greaves, you know, providing a little bit to that kind of anti-CC angle. But Fnatic in the driver's seat in this one now at 28 minutes, Brandon.
A little under 90 seconds remain on their Fire Giant buff, and they're very intelligently pushing up multiple lanes. They have great split push potential here, especially considering Thor's build. I mean, that build is atrociously strong for pushing down objectives. That's a lot of penetration, so he's going to be a major driving force, especially when you couple him with Anhur in being able to take down towers as fast as possible. They're going to turn their sights, it seems, to the left Phoenix here as Team Dignitas puts themselves on what could be the final defense of the game.
Yeah, Fnatic, you know, they're going to siege. All they really need to do is just slow down Dignitas' farming. You're about 2,000 gold away from a 6-slot Anhur. And that's going to give them the next really big power spike. They like to get a little bit out of this engagement, but not give away anything, certainly is.
Oh, wait.
They definitely have
Thor?
Time on their side. Thor. Oh, did he find the two-man? No, it's just Frostiak, but he's immediately forced to use beads. The Pinata comes over the top. That forces him off of the mark, and left side Phoenix is down. That's the far side Phoenix from the Fire Giant, the most valuable of them all. And here comes the rest of Fnatic. Maniac can be such an amazing frontliner now. And the CC combination between the Athena and the Hercules absolutely wrecks Team Dignitas. That ultimate from the ice is healing them back up a bit, but you can see now it's reals. He does get the crit finally, and he can just walk down the rest of the team. Zeros picks off another. It's Ymir down so far. Youngbei, maybe the last really powerful member alive of Dignitas here, as Zeros double kill to his credit as he continues firing away with those shotguns from Janus, and this one has gone the way of Fnatic. It looks like there's very little Dignitas can do to take this one back in their favor.
Yeah, that Spirit Ball down, missing. It looks like Shadow Nightmare is kind of willing to let this one go, taking his sweet time in the base as he watches the Chaos Titan fall. First game, it looks like to me, will be going to Fnatic here as Shadow Nightmare will join his Titan in what seems like just certain death.
30% remaining. Now 19, 18, 17. There we go. Okay, now it will go down indeed as Variety picks up a final kill, but does go down himself.
Top three damage there going strongly to Fnatic, with top honors going to Maniac. 8, 2, and 10 in that game. Lord in heaven.
Twig, the one that surprises me, being in the top 3 damage position in the game, out-damaging the Janus that game on the Thor with a penetration-heavy build, not like some kind of crazy Hydra's Lament that was spiking his damage. You know, it was legit, I guess, the way he did it.
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of damage.
This just in. We got a giveaway coming your way, guys, at Smite Pro on Twitter, #SPL, and then show your support for #Fnatic after they win that one. You can get Carnival Neath.
Oh, cool.
Carnival Neath, I guess, as it were.
Cool. I accidentally use that skin a lot because PBAT picked it once, and I keep forgetting not to when I pick random.
Well, hey, you if you don't love that skin, then you're not Brazilian or American.
or anything else.
Man.
Oh. First game going very strongly to Fnatic. I don't think a lot of people bet against that lineup there. Not only were they 4th place at Worlds, but they get 5 of the strongest gods in the game who have extremely strong chemistry. So great first round to that. But Dignitas, they are 2-0 in the split, which means they won't be giving up easily.
Well, guys, we do have the First Blood replay coming your way. Let's take a look at that one. It seems so long ago now, as that was a very, very eventful game. This one does go down on the desktop of the replay computer, guys. So maybe not coming your way just yet. Our second game today will be out of this same best-of-3 series, guys. Fnatic versus Dignitas. Game number 2 coming your way in just a bit. We'll see you then.
Your